So we're back at the old house site today, and our first coin of the day has, let's go take a look in the hole, see what we got there. Well, this is the one thing that you should be finding quite a few of in this spot. Wasn't too deep on the Equinox, but it's a young Liz. 1959. Not too bad shape. We'll see what comes out on the next. See you then. Well, this one was only ringing up about 3 bars deep, and you can see it on the bottom of the plug. Let's see what we got here. Oh, looks like it's just a middle-aged Elizabeth. No, actually it is a middle-aged Elizabeth, but it's a centennial pigeon penny. Cool. Alright, we'll see you on the next. Well, I had kind of an iffy signal, and I thought I'd dig it just in case, and it turns out it's just a big wire ring. Idea what that's from, but quite an interesting find. See you on the next. Well, we got a good 24, 26 signal in the Equinox, and looks like we got a Wheatie. Yeah, that's a Wheatie. Let's see if we can see what year it is. Well, I think we just got a button out of the hole. I'm not sure how old it is, but I haven't shown what it looks like yet. It's not a flat button. It's got the shank on it still, but let's see what's on the back. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. That is only my second military button ever. That is awesome. RCAF. I'm not sure if that's World War II or World War I. I'll have to research that and get back to you. Awesome find. See you on the next. Well, we just got a really good signal in the hole, and I can see already that it's silver, and I can see it is pre-George VI. I think we might have my first pre-George VI quarter. That's going to be awesome. That's been on my bucket list for a long time. Let's just see. I can see. Oh yeah. I don't know if this is George V or if this is an Eddie, but it almost looks like it's possibly right or left. No, right facing is Eddie. Let's pull it up and see. I think this must be from the old house site. I can't see this being from later, from the rest stop era. Let's bring it out and see what this sucker is. Oh boy, I'm excited. Oh, it's George V. Oh yeah. And that is a quarter. I don't know what the wear is like. It's kind of bit on this side. Let's see we can get for a year on it. Oh my goodness. It's a little bit scratched. I guess that was scratched already. So I guess I can't do it any more damage. And it looks like we got 1918. Sweet, sweet, sweet. This place is just keeps coming up amazing, amazing, amazing. Awesome stuff. See you on the next. Well, we got another penny in the hole. Not sure what it is. It's about 3 bars deep, not too deep, but check it out. It's pretty crusty here. I think it's another wheat penny. Yeah, it's a wheat penny. I just found another one which I didn't film, 1941. Let's see what this one is. I think this is the fourth wheat penny today. I think I'm finding more wheat pennies than I am finding Canadian ones the same age. Let's see. I'll have to get back to you on that one. I'll have to give it a little scraping. Now we can see it. 1951. Sweet. We'll see you on the next. Well, the bucket listers keep happening for me today. Along with that wheat penny in the hole, look what we got here. My goodness. We've got a 1936 American quarter. Isn't that something? All the way up here in Canada. Only my 3rd American silver, other than the 2 other barbers. Geez, I'm lucky with these American silvers. My goodness. Look at that. Oh, it's got a little bit of wear, but man, that thing's got some weight to it. That's 2 silver quarters today. Oh my God, that's sweet. That is awesome stuff. See you on the next. Well, only a few minutes after that American quarter, silver quarter, I think we got another silver here. Wasn't ringing up too high, but I think so. I have a feeling it's a 50%er, 50% silver dime, I'm thinking. Let's check this sucker out. Remove some of that sand and get back to you. Well, just as I thought, it's a 50% silver, 1968. Oh well, 50% is 50%. See you on the next. Well, I think we dug our first George VI penny today, which is really strange because last time I dug 9 of them, and the time before that, a dozen. So we got 1940, actually that last digit, oh there it is, 1943. Decent. Not too clear on this side. We will see you on the next. Well, I just scored our 5th American Wheatie today. Thank you, American tourists. You're welcome to come up here anytime and drop your money. Love it. Other side is not so good. I'll have to clean that up a little bit, but not too bad. I will see you on the next. Well, here's the wrap up to the Dragon Slayer site. 7.5 hours, hot day, probably the longest hunt I've ever done, ever. Luckily there was plenty of trees, so I could choose the shade I wanted to, whatever time of day it was. So we'll start off with the trash. Not a huge amount of trash for 7.5 hours. It's a very trashy site, so I'm pretty choosy about the signals I do. A lot of pull tabs, a lot of bottle caps. Some of these ones came up with good signals. Some of those flattened bottle caps put off good coin signals with the Equinox. The odd one does. So that's the trash. 7.5 hours. That is a lot of time. Just shows you the amount of work and time you have to put into this stuff. For all you newbies out there, it is a lot of work. So we'll move over to, I guess, assorted relics, the square nails. Pull a few more of those out. Give off the good 30s, deep 30 signals with the Equinox sometimes. So dig them just in case. So we'll move on to the coins. We got 29 modern Canadian pennies, 1970s, 80s. We ended up with only 3 George pennies this time, 1940s. 4 Young Elizabeths. Couple 60s, 50s. This one's really roached on the back. I'm amazed by some of these ones. They're not hugely old, but it was in the roadway, so I don't know. Sometimes stuff happens. And then this was interesting. We got quite a few wheat pennies. They're all 1940s and 50s, but we ended up with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. 6 wheat pennies. Quite a bit of that. I think in the past there was a lot of American tourists, so you get a lot of that happening. A lot of American coins dropped back in the day. Now we'll move over to the. Wasn't a huge amount of relic finds today, just one of any interest, and it was quite a dandy. We have a military button, and I found out it's a World War II era Royal Canadian Air Force coat button. So that was I was pretty surprised when I dug that up right beside a tree root. And so it's only the second military button I've found. The first one I found is 1800s, so that was a nice find. This is my first World War II era button. I'm hoping to find a World War I era one. I know lots of people have found those, so in due time we'll see. Now to the silvers. Now we got 1968, 50% silver dime. Now this is where it gets really cool, and these are 2 bucket listers for the day. One is sort of an unexpected bucket lister because I wasn't really expecting to find it, but I did anyway, and it was quite cool. So here we go. 3rd American silver ever, and it is a Washington 1936 quarter. That was quite something. It's a little bit worn. I found it in with I found the wheat penny first, and then I went to look again, and there was something else in the hole, and this sucker popped out. So it's got a little bit of wear on it. Might have been lost in the 50s. It was in circulation for a while, so pretty awesome find there. And a second quarter for the day, and also a bucket lister. My first pre-George VI quarter. I guess, the Caribou quarters. This one is 1918, and I have a feeling this one dates from the era when the rest stop was an old house. Yeah, it's a little bit, those scratches are old. Those weren't from me, but I did scratch it on the other side, unfortunately. But quite cool. First King George V quarter. 2 silver quarters in one day. Not bad, but 7.5 hours. Shows you if you put the time in, you can find some pretty cool stuff. And that's it for the wrap up, and I will see you on the next.